Howdy folks, welcome back to the Ghost Puppet Reacts or something, and that is the continuation of the Great Hybrid War. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Alright, for those who don't know what the Great Hybrid War is, let me jump you up to speed a bit. So, a while ago, gojicenter took the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World and improved it, and whenever he improved it, Goji guy made their own hybrid to take it out. It did not go well. But after that, everyone else started making their own hybrids, and that's how the Great Hybrid War started. So see who can make their own hybrid to beat the Indominus. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Well, we're already in a tournament style thing of like the top 16. Last video over this basically went down to like who the top 8 would be, and now we're gonna end off with a top 4, I guess. So yeah. This will be fun. Oh, yeah, another thing. The two hybrids that I was rooting for to win, yeah, they both lost the first round. Yeah. And I forgot who I started rooting for after that, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably remember once. It'll all come back to me in the midst of seeing this, yeah. Anyways, I got nothing else for this intro, so we're going to jump right into it. So let's go and do that now, shall we?
Today on gojicenter, the Great Hybrid War takes one more step towards its climactic conclusion. Out of over 1,600 contestants, an elite squad of 16 hybrids was
God, that's so many contestants we had, right? Jesus, yeah.
selected for the combative test.
And there's Demi, the main one I was rooting for.
Against the destructive menace unleashed upon the world. After the first round, this cream of the crop was cut in two, with 8 genomes kept in reserve as 8 of their compatriots proceeded on to see who will lead the...
And I believe the requirements to win get stricter as we go too, so that's the thing.
Effort in purging the world of this apocalyptic menace. As a refresher on today's coverage, each remaining 8 hybrids are not being pitted against each other. Instead, each of them is evaluated based on how well they would fare in a one-on-one fight against a 2.0 in a head-to-head battle on neutral ground out in the open.
Yep, that's how it was, yeah.
No ambushes, no advantages, no setup. How they score will be based on how quick...
Just go full on out against each other without anything. It's just like this. Just go at it. I think I was rooting for this to win. I forgot what it was called, but I'm pretty sure this is what I was rooting for, so yeah.
They can end the
if not, I'm rooting for it now.
Fight, what condition they will be at the end of that battle, their smarts, and how many fights they can...
Might have been that Triceratops.
Pull off a win.
That I was rooting for, hell no.
The second round of...
You know, those would be my 2 that I root for now, so yeah.
Testing these champions starts now.
Alright.
Matchup number 1, Predator Rex versus Ferro Pelta. Either of these two could weather the storm.
I'm predicting that the Ferro Pelta wins this, you know.
In a closed quarters brawl with the 2.0. Be it an extended fight out in the open like an hour combat scenario, or a proverbial knife fight in the jungle of either getting ambushed or doing the ambush. Ferro Pelta can leverage a slightly greater reach thanks to its long tail when talking about singular weapons.
Can also take a lot more blows too.
Predator Rex, aka Vega, would certainly be able to land more hits consistently thanks to its great arm span and long upper body. Being capable of rearing up and standing as a biped, Predator Rex would also be able to turn around a lot quicker and reposition.
Oh, what the hell? I didn't expect my phone to go off in the midst of this, but... okay.
If its odious opponent tried to pull a flanking maneuver and attack it from the sides or back. Ferro Pelta lacks
does have more mobility, which, you know, now is that going to help it as much as the Ferro Pelta?
A lot of this maneuverability, meaning it would inevitably get outflanked in fights where it couldn't end the battle quickly with a precise goring attack or tail swing to the face. However, when it comes to an angle of attack, there is one important distinction between these two designs. With the Indominus 2.0 being as agile as it is, there's a good chance it's going to be able to get around and attack one of its opponents from the back. Vega's main weak spot is enemies targeting it at the tail and spine. Now, this is only a weak spot in that these areas don't have assets the Predator King can call upon to fight back. If the Indominus got it by the tail or climbed on top of it, Vega would have...
It looks like it's trying to dunk on it right now.
to shake off its opponent or try to reach and grab them to get them off. Something that would be difficult given its best weapons in its arms and teeth are all forward-facing. Ferro meanwhile, has an extremely armored back and flanks. To do any meaningful damage, the 2.0 would have to go for the limbs or underbelly, both of which are
even if it flanks, it's still got to get under there, but yeah.
Low to the ground, hard to...
Even then, it could probably still get whipped by the tail by going from the back or something, so yeah.
Reach easily, and getting in reach to do some strikes means the 2.0 is...
It'll have a harder time getting damage on the Ferro compared to the Predator King, yeah.
It's in the awkward position of having to aim low, which can compromise its speed. And losing speed near the Ferro means leaving yourself open for nasty retaliation. Ferro may not be able to land devastating blows as easily against the nimble opponent it is pitted against, but being low to the ground and having usable weapons on both ends means any major angle it's attacked from does have some kind of answer. And a horn jab to the thigh, bite to the leg, or tail swing to the knees or ankles of the Indominus 2.0 is going to compromise its speed greatly. And when that speed and agility keeping the 2.0 in the fight is gone, it would be curtains. Predator Rex absolutely can throw down with the best of them, and would greatly benefit from working alongside Ferro in a sword and shield combination. But for now, its ally proceeds on as the bulwark against the horde, with the shield leading so the sword can strike best.
Indeed.
Matchup number 2.
The defense just helps a lot, yeah. As while it can do a lot of damage and everything, it can also not take nearly as much as the Ferro and just... What else was I gonna say? It has a higher risk of dying compared to the Ferro because the Ferro well, like he said, lots of armor. Predator Rex, not so much. Yeah, it's much more vulnerable compared to the Ferro Much more agile and everything, but still a lot more vulnerable than the Ferro where the Ferro don't need to be agile. So, yeah.
Armored Titan versus Ceratops barbaricus. This contest between the Armored Titan and Ceratops is one between arms and armored living tanks.
Alright, so this is probably where, because I was pretty much predicting that most of the sauropods would go further, but I don't know how much further it'll go compared to the Triceratops, but we're going to find out.
The war, both excel in some...
Until then, I don't know who's going to go forward. It's hard to know. I'm leaning more towards the Armored Titan winning this, but I still do not know. We're gonna see.
The same categories, while their differences allow them to accentuate their skills in others. Both are built to weather an onslaught of attacks by their opponents, with armor that is both extremely resilient, but also...
Now that I think about it a bit more, I think the Trike will win this.
Allowing for...
Mainly because, while, I did say that, mobility isn't always the best compared to the last one, I think mobility will actually help a bit more in this one, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe. I'm trying to come up with... I have a feeling why, I just can't explain it. Yeah.
Good flexibility to give them the reaction speed needed to effectively make deadly contact with the 2.0. The core differences that define how they were scored in this competition came down to their weaponry and fight methodology. Ceratops has numerous weapons front to back, but its best assets are undoubtedly its Triceratops-like horns. With a direct charge, lunge, or gore attack, these horns could potentially impale a 2.0 in a direct hit with enough momentum put behind it. Its high weight does mean charges would be limited compared to a normal Triceratops, but if conditions are right, these kinds of weapons just might be the best at penetrating through the crocodilian armor of its opponent. Striking the chest with those horns would be a one-shot kill if they had enough force to impale the 2.0.
It'll put its horns through it and parade that bitch around like a trophy. Yep.
The Armored Titan, meanwhile, has a devastating weapon of its own with very different attributes. While its claws, sheer weight, and even neck could be suitable weapons, its tail would be its best defense.
Bringing up its neck, it just made me think of, just it using its neck to whip it, like that thing that giraffes do when... I think it's that thing they do... I think it's when they mate, when they do that thing, when they swing their head at each other. I think that's when they do it. I'm probably very wrong. I'm going off of what I remember and what I think that was. But, yeah, feel free to correct me in the comments on that. But, there's a thing where giraffes move their head around. Just like that. I don't know, maybe go look it up. I was just thinking of this doing that, which... Yeah, sure, yeah.
And offense, resembling the whip-like extremity of a diplodocus, which could be potentially swung around at speeds exceeding 60 miles an hour. Even just half that speed with the kind of armor on its body would make this tail a shredding bludgeon.
Yeah.
A clean hit to the face or limbs could break bone and snap joints. The biggest distinction is that...
Look at the snap of that jaw.
While the whip tail has...
like King Kong just straight up tore that up.
Much more reach and would land its hits much more easily than the horns, it would need to hit multiple times or strike a specific vital to be a clean kill. Remember, we're talking about a hybrid with the base genome of a T-Rex, an animal that had one of, if not the most robust skeletal arrangement of any theropod in existence. The horn attack, meanwhile, could be devastating with just a single hit, even if it does require getting in much closer and risking a brawl, something that Ceratops is built to withstand. The armored Titan can serve as a fantastic guardian, using its height and reach to cover teammates and even keep multiple 2.0 at bay. However, for its quick kill capacity...
It feels extremely close for a win to this one.
Against an individual opponent in both this competition and for those 2.0 that might get past its armored comrade, Ceratops proceeds on in the competition with its titanic compatriot kept on call.
Alright, man, the mobility had nothing to do with it. I don't know why, I just felt like it did, I don't know. And not even by like a huge margin, just, I don't know, sometimes my brain just brain things and sometimes I just can't explain it. Yeah. Yeah.
Matchup number 3, Atherotitan Christus versus Yamab. This would be a clash of titans if these two had come to blows against each other instead of their common foe. Instead, this competition involving one hybrid composed of one of the most powerful sauropods that ever lived and another built upon the strongest known
Gilgamesh, yeah.
hadrosaur of all time comes down to the smaller details. Yamab does have plenty of assets to call upon that make it a
usually I lead more towards the sauropods, but I'm leading more towards Gilgamesh winning this one, yeah.
Fantastic brawler, more than strong enough to endure hit after hit and give back twofold.
But I could be wrong.
It can thrash, stomp, swat, bite, or crush with all of the weapons across its body. Its companion, the Atherotitan, stomps into the arena with very similar armor and spines, leveraged by sheer brute force to a mind-boggling degree. Either of these two are large enough to handily overpower a 2.0 in a direct confrontation if the carnivorous hybrid attempts to take them on head-on. Atherotitan would be much easier to outflank than its comrade, however, it is also substantially harder to critically wound. Gilgamesh has suitably legendary defense, with the only vulnerable points in the underside of the throat where the armor isn't as thick as it would be elsewhere. Attacking this, though, requires getting into the potential death zone that is its forearms and jaws.
Yep, a lot of risk for both of them, yep. But, hey, you know, as I say, high risk, high reward.
Gilgamesh would be able...
The high reward being doing a lot of damage.
...to win the fight much quicker thanks to its higher reactivity and agility, helping it land more hits more consistently and earlier on into the fight. Atherotitan, meanwhile, trades a lot of that finesse for sheer force that could potentially end the fight in one hit.
Yep.
This one was extremely close, and Atherotitan is unique in that it is one of the only contestants that could conceivably fight multiple 2.0s at the same time and have a good shot at winning. What tilts the odds, however, is stamina. Gilgamesh arguably would get the win quicker in times where its titanic counterpart couldn't get that opening hit. When the fight drags on, however, things are going to literally heat up for the contestants, given how much force and energy they would be exerting. And because Atherotitan is so gigantic and so heavily armored, dissipating all that heat is going to be taxed. Even with sauropods having been specifically evolved for that function to help dissipate the heat, biology has its limits. There is a good reason why sauropods never evolved to have this much armor. One of them is that, well, they didn't need this much. Sheer size was enough to weather the storm, and in turn, the exposed, in this case unarmored body parts, allowed heat to escape much easier than if it were encapsulated in thick hide and armor. If the fight turns into a slugfest, Gilgamesh, having a smaller body size but also still plenty of surface area to vent off the building temperatures, means it can stay in the fight longer by avoiding heat stress. Whereas the heavily armored Longneck would have a harder time dissipating heat than its more natural, less armored counterparts. All of that bony armor is going to insulate it and start increasing the temperature the longer the fight goes. Both of these are well armored, and initially it's easy to think that Atherotitan might finish the fight in better health. However, in this specific case, any attempt from the 2.0 to attack the weak spots of Gilgamesh puts herself at risk of being killed, but quicker. Not giving enough time for the 2.0 to inflict significant wounds. This was the definitive factor. Adding stamina to the equation, Gilgamesh...
Guess I was right to trust my gut on this one and lead more towards Gilgamesh this time.
...will be able to go the distance just that much more. Gilgamesh proceeds on to take the front lines, while
yeah, whenever they brought up stamina, it kind of made me think of like how like blue whales work, because, you know, those things are so huge that, you know, they only start like... like opening your mouth uses up so much energy that they only open it when they're guaranteed enough krillin to eat. So, yeah, because like I guess using that much is like that big of a toll on them, and it started making me think of it. That's whenever I was bringing this, you know.
Atherotitan
Learned that from a Casual Geographic vid.
Can be called in for heavy weapons. Matchup number 4: Armatis Gigantus versus Monstro Brutalis. Closing up our competition is the mightiest mammalian hybrid, contrasted with a compatriot that is superb in its simplicity. Armatis Gigantus is chiefly patterned after arguably the most powerful land animal to ever exist, with some extra add-ons. Monstro Brutalis, meanwhile, is an unnatural gestalt that looks more like an ogre or beast of myth, with a myriad of natural weapons that are simple but effective.
I'm not sure which one would warrant this one, but I'm rooting for the mammal hybrid now.
Both of these two have the raw power to put the 2.0 down for the count, but one of them would do much better in a specific environment, whereas the other is more generalized. Outside of being in a very cramped forest or swamp that would bog it down and reduce its ability to leverage its great reach, Armatis would be able to make contact with its opponent, at times even before or while the 2.0 could manage to pounce. While it isn't as heavily armored as other sauropods, being over 80 tons still makes it way larger than it needs to be to win a strength contest. A sauropod half its weight would be able to reliably triumph over a much lighter opponent, and that sheer bulk...
I guess it uses a lot of stamina as well.
Does mean even the areas that aren't as heavily armored still have plenty of padding and protection. What armor it does have will keep it in the game, even if the 2.0 manages to climb on top of it to try and attack the exposed back, making it easier to shake off the Indom and protect its neck. And once the fight is on the ground, it only takes one solid swing with over a dozen meters of reach and multiple tons of mass behind it to be a game over for a 2.0 caught in that position. Monstro, meanwhile, is a brawler with the best of them. But unlike its opponent, it lacks the ability to...
Yeah, this thing just gonna run straight into that, yep.
...cleanly and reliably kill in one single blow if the fight came down to that. Health-wise, Monstro is clad in armor to protect it from several blows. However, being evaluated against a sauropod who could throw its weight around a lot easier means that a more heavily armored herbivore like Armatis would stack more wins in less time. The angry green Goliath that is Brutalis would be a much-needed asset in clearing out 2.0 incursions in the very biomes Armatis would struggle in. Denser forests and bogs would also give it the advantage in being able to rip up trees to use as weapons thanks to its dexterity.
Already just imagine it just tearing that arm off right there, just like, give me that, yoink. And the tail too. Bro, this thing's gonna hoist it over its head and slam it down like some WWE move or something. Maybe do like some Bane shit, like I will break the Indominus, and then snaps its back on its knee.
Arms, especially in a swampy environment where the water and mud would even out the playing field with speed, this armored ogre would be an ideal choice. But as for taking on the 2.0 head-to-head in the open, Armatis marches forward on rumbling Earth.
Alrighty then.
Next time in the Great Hybrid War, the Final Four.
Yep,
Ceratops, Ferro Yamab, and Armatis Gigantus.
And the two that I'm rooting for made it into the next round. Let's go! Although they're being pit against each other in the next one. Alright, yeah, that's Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of close ones here with, well, I think, I already forgot the name of the Triceratops. I feel like such an asshole for getting it now. But the Red Devil Trike versus the Ferro Pelta, I feel like that's going to be an extremely close one. As for Gilgamesh versus, I am so bad at remembering these names. It was literally just on the screen. Why is your memory this bad, Toby? Armatis, there, yeah. And Gilgamesh versus Armatis, yeah. At least I believe that's how they're going to be facing off against each other. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. Ceratops, there. I'm rooting for the Ceratops and the Ferro Pelta, yeah. I think I'd root for the Ferro Pelta more than the Ceratops, though. Yeah. Especially because I like the color design a lot more than that, yeah. But I'm still rooting for, well, they're both rooting against each other, so whatever I'm rooting for makes it into the final round regardless, so I'm fine with that, yep. As for who wins between, oh my god, can I talk right? Who wins between Gilgamesh and Armatis? Yeah, these we're gonna have, probably have some really close fights in the next one, yeah.
Face their final tests to reveal who will be the winner of the first hybrid war. Only one hybrid will take the crown and the honor to face the Pale Menace and become the champion.
Alrighty then. I was reading the comments and something that one of them pointed out was that all the last 4 contestants they're all herbivores and yeah, neat. Well, I'm curious as to how this will go in the future, but like I said, I'm still rooting for the Trike and Ferro Pelta, so no, more so Ferro Pelta, but yeah. But we'll see what happens in the next one. Alright, and that'll do it so for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, check out the original video, which will be linked in the description below. Go check out gojicenter for making this video. He'll be linked down in the description below as well. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.